Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again with another deck tech. I've still got COVID, so excuse my croaky voice and if I sound a bit strange for a change. Today though, I've decided to go back in time a little bit to a few years ago when a new set came out. And it gave us back one of the most iconic dragons ever. And it came in a new form and a new way of looking at things. And I realised I used to play this a lot and it's very popular at the moment in Pioneer, in the Bring to Light decks, so you probably know what I'm talking about right now. But before I go any further, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Come and give me a follow on Twitch, I'd really appreciate it. It'll cheer me up when I'm still suffering with COVID. But anyway, going back to the deck. This is what we're talking about today then on this video. We're talking about Niv Mizzet Reborn. Werbook, so white, blue, black, red and green, for a 6/6 flying legendary dragon creature that's an avatar. And when Niv Mizzet Reborn enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each colour pair, choose a card that's exactly a pair of those colours from among them. I've got really tongue-tied, I'm sorry. Put the chosen cards in your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library. Now, there's a couple of things to realise from this. So say if you reveal 3 blue-white cards, you're only going to get to put one of them in your hand. Likewise, it's got to be colour pairs, so there's no tricolour cards, there's no 4-colour cards, it's purely pairs in this deck. And we're hoping that we just hit enough that we can keep building our hand up as we go along with this deck. So, this is what the deck looks like. Ta-da! Here's my take on Niv Mizzet. I've decided to go down purely the 2-colour route as far as possible with this deck. Now, there are a few artifacts in the deck, because obviously you do need some ramp, but on the whole, it's purely 2 colours all the way through, with a few one-off green spells in it, which I'm sure you can work out why they're in there in a minute when we go through the deck list. As for the deck lands itself, we are playing every single double land or multicoloured land I can think of, with the exception of the triomes, because I decided to keep it, we're doing pairs of colours, we might as well have pairs of lands. You could replace a lot of these with the triomes, I'm not going to argue that. They are probably better on some sides. The only land in here that does not produce any coloured mana is Reliquary Turret, because we are going to be drawing a lot of cards with Niv Mizzet. Therefore, we want to make sure we're not discarding those cards, so getting out the Reliquary Turret early is fairly key. Just to go through the non-double colour cards: Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Thoughtseize give us our artifact ramp. Farseek, Rampant Growth, Sylvan Scrying, Search for Tomorrow give us the go find some land cards. So they're the only ones we're playing, so hopefully it's enough. I have included, people are probably wondering why, Amulet of Vigors in here. Now, a lot of the dual lands, if you want to call them that, it comes into play taps unless you control 2 or fewer other lands, so on and so forth, yeah? It's therefore worthwhile playing Amulet of Vigor, so when they come into play, get the Amulet of Vigor into play early. We can make sure they come into play untapped, Fortified Village, the Snarls, so on and so forth. It will bring them in untapped, which really does help. I am playing all of the dual lands from Dominaria United, so they're all in there as well, all the common ones, so they're worth picking up if you haven't picked them up already on Commander, I think. They help with all the things like revealing a mountain or plains for a Snarl, for instance, or something like where you got Dragon Skull Summit where you need to have a swamp or a mountain in play. Obviously, with Amulet of Vigor, it's not that much of an issue, but, it's 1 card in 199 cards. You're going to be lucky to find it. So, this deck is really just basically, it's more of a fun deck than anything else. I wouldn't say this is a seriously competitive deck for EDH, but we'll go through some of the cards, and I've put a lot of things in to try and make it a bit more fun. So we've got Ailey, Eternal Pilgrim. I've chucked in Avon Heart Sealing from Streets of New Capenna, because we probably will end up with 5 or more mana values in our graveyard at some stage. And when it dies, we do get to mill 2, then draw a card, so it's not the end of the world. I chucked in Dimir Infiltrator, just so I can have it and transmute it for something else if we need to. It might be a case we need to transmute it to go and find one of the ramp spells or so on and so forth, but it's worth having there. Chevelle's in just for some early, let's put some bounty counters on some creatures and hopefully they get killed off, and then we get when it dies we get to gain 3 life and draw cards, so it seemed like a reasonable plan to me. Going forward from there, Geist Descent Traff, so we can have 2/2 hexproof is fine, but just attacking with it and risk losing it to get the 4/4 angel token is probably worth it a lot of the time as well. Mortify and Vindicate, just so we have a bit of targeted removal for things that might be annoying us. Shahili Sublime Artificer is in to go and get, when we're casting non-creature spells. And we've got a few. Getting those servo tokens to act as blockers helps. I've chucked in Ludwig, just so we can draw a card if someone else apart from us lost life, so that helps. Sahili Ray gives us a nice little combo with Ludwig, assuming, you don't both hit them off Niv Mizzet because they are both blue-red. Same with Royal Sinians, that's in here as well. It's nice if we can do the +1 draw card and discard a card, gets through our deck. Lagamos is one of the new creatures from Dominaria United. I think I would chuck it in here just for the laugh because it is Rakdos. It's not a colour combination I've got that many of in the deck. Likewise, Renegade Rallier to return things that went to the graveyard this turn. So if someone blows up one of these or blows up one of them, we can always go and get it back. Kiora just to help us ramp. And I believe these work with Niv Mizzet because they are 2 colours technically. So I'm hoping they work. I'm not 100% sure, but if you know any better, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you. Idric Spymaster, draw more cards. Oko's in, because why not? Same with Uro. They see the 3 drops a lot of blue, red, blue, green. So we'll bear that in mind as we go through the rest of the deck. I've chucked in Brago, 2/4 flyer, and we get to bounce things in and out. So it seemed like a good plan, especially if we've got Planeswalkers we want to reset. Likewise, Felice is in here. If it's, hopefully we'll get some counters on it somehow. But it does get the mental ability and it does fly and it's reasonably cheap. It's also different colour. Likewise, Dusk's Mental Seer. It does help us make people lose life so we can draw extra cards if we get Ludwig into play. And it's a 4/4 flyer for 4 at the end of the day. Hopefully we won't die to it. There's a lot of legendary creatures, as you can imagine, here in historic stuff. So that's why Jorah's in play. Ralzeric turns up. Another one, Mogus, God of Slaughter, probably makes you a target when you play it, but hey, let's deal with that later. Prosper, Tombbound's in, just so we can play the cards out of exile and get those treasure tokens, assuming Prosper's still in play. Just remember, if you do get a creature out, do get a card exiled with Prosper, even if Prosper dies before your next turn, you still get to play that card from exile. You just don't get the treasure token. Arnie Korad's in, just so we can get some Wolves if we need it, and transform it straight away, which sounds like a good plan to me. Likewise, Firemane Angel is not a card you see very often. It's got Battalion, so if you attack with 3, you get to do a little bit of a Lightning Helix on something, which is quite nice. Ajani, the Great Hearted in, just to give the few creatures we've got Vigilance, +1 gain the life, -2, chuck some Loyalty and +1/+1 counters around, seems good to me. Lenore helps us do the card draw. Adrix and Niv for some of the tokens we have coming up. Get a couple of them, it'd be quite nice. Bounty of Lux is in just to help us with our mana ramp, really. It does both things. It helps us draw and helps us mana ramp. Okay, it's only every other turn, but it's worth having in from my point of view. Likewise, Kilda Chosen of Crucifix is in. Okay, 9 times out of 10, it's just going to add 1 mana to the mana pool, but occasionally you'll get a few more cards and you'll get to add a couple of mana. So I figured from my point of view, it's worth playing. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria is in. No idea why, I just want another Planeswalker. This was a 2-colour one, so there you go. Eloise, Nephalid Sleuth is in. Get him another creature we control dies, we get to investigate. And at the end of the day, if we can sack it off and draw an extra card, why not? Let's go for it. Battle of Frost and Fire for a little bit of removal, so we can deal the full damage. Kranigos, God of the Storms is in as well. Again, it's more for the damage than anything else. Likewise, I chucked in Master of Cruelties just for a little bit of a laugh. Can only attack alone. It's got First Strike, it's got Death Touch. It's going to basically kill anything it does block on the ground, so it's worth playing from that point of view. Or, you could cast Xenagos as well and give it haste and upset people. Hoodley, Warrior Poets in, just so we can get some more dinosaur blockers and gain some life if we need to. Kamatra, we're going to get our forests and plains out. Don't forget, I did say we had the dual plans in, so, we do have ways of getting things in, like wooded ridgeline, etc., off this tangled islet, so on and so forth. Hence why I've chucked it in, because it's a forest or plains card, not basic forest or plains, so it does work. Obviously, you've got these shocklands as well; they work as well. Chucked in Mirari's Wake just to help us with our mana production, and we're playing Niv Mizzet. We're going to play Bring to Light. Why wouldn't we? Teferi Timebenders in as well. Atheros Shroud Veils in as to come in and help us get some creatures that we might be killing off. I chucked in Arjun. You've seen this before. I've done a deck tech on this ages ago, which I really love this card, and I just thought it was a bit of fun. It's a dual colour card at the end of the day, so why not? Waking the trolls, blow some lands up, get a land back, then get a whole load of trolls creatures would be nice. It works really nicely, obviously, if we've got Adrix and Niv in as well, so we get more trolls, and we can probably shake a... I don't know, what do you shake at trolls? I don't know. More trolls than you can store under a bridge. How's that? Let's go with that one. Dragon Brood Mother is in as well. Again, it's a 2-colour card, technically. And having those little 1/1 dragons appear could help us out long term. Likewise, Armada Whelm does the same thing. It gives us a couple of 5/5 tramplers when it comes into play. I've chucked in emergency powers just so we can, if things do get shoved in our graveyard, we can get them back. And then if we can play it during our main phase, getting to put a 7 mana value or less card from our hand onto the battlefield is probably a really good idea. Spring to Mind in. This is also, I'm not sure if this works with Niv Mizzet. I think it possibly does because I think it sees it as 2 cards, but I may be wrong. Again, let me know down below. But ramp and then a couple of cards later on is fine. March of the Multitudes definitely does work. And having all the, if we've got a load of mana to sink in at some stage, having a whole load of 1/1 white soldier tokens for lifelink will keep us in the game. Likewise, Hydroid Crassus gives us a big flying Hydra beast that also gives us a load of cards and a load of life with a bit of luck. So that's it. That's my take on Niv Mizzet. I hope you enjoy this deck tech. Like I said, I am feeling a bit rough this week, so the deck techs this week are going to be a little bit shorter than normal. But I hope you've hit the like button. I hope you've hit the subscribe button to my YouTube channel. Come and give me a follow on Twitch as well. I'll hopefully still be well enough to stream this week. I'm not going to promise it yet. This video is going up on Wednesday, so there may have been a stream last night if you were lucky enough to be there. So, but hey, that's the way it goes when you get COVID, unfortunately. So that's the end of this one. Take care, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, come and follow me on Twitch. I've said it again now. Take care, see you soon. Bye.